Good evening. Welcome to Conversations with Kenya. It's your girl, Coach K, your life do-over advocate, your Purpose Lamaze instructor, and I am a hope dealer. Welcome to the show. I missed you guys. I'm so glad you're here with us. And guess what? We have an amazing guest in the studio tonight. I'm so excited. I'm so honored to meet this guy. Like, things just keep happening for me. You know, they say when you step into your lane, that's what we're gonna say, your lane, like the people that you're supposed to be connected with just start showing up to run alongside with you, right? And I'm so honored to be sitting here with Michael tonight. I'm going to share a little bit about who he is, and then he's going to share a little bit more, and then we're going to have a conversation tonight up in here. So let me tell you who I have sitting in the studio with me tonight. I have Mr. Michael Kostis. Did I say it right? I've been practicing.
Yep.
Like, let me get his name right.
That's perfect.
And Michael serves as the statewide coordinator, you guys, for the Florida Coalition for Higher Education in Prison. I'm going to pause right there because Michael asked me, he's like, why you want me on the show? And I was like, because I'm just now realizing the importance of education in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just makes sense with how I'm maneuvering and how I'm running in this space now. So Michael is he's the coordinator for the Florida Coalition for Higher Education in Prison. Let me give you the letters. FCHEP. Do y'all say that?
FCHEP.
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 FCHEP. I love it. A recent graduate from the University of Central Florida. My daughter's graduated from there. With a dual Bachelor of Arts degrees in political science and sociology. Michael brings a rich background in advocacy. Previously, he was the program and volunteer coordinator for the Florida Prison Education Project, FPEP. I don't know if I said that right.
Perfect. Perfect.
Co-editor in chief of the FPEP Post magazine. I want to talk to you about that.
Oh, yeah.
And a student body senator in the UCF student government as an organizer, poet. He gonna say a little something for us tonight. An activist, Michael is dedicated to addressing class struggle and economic inequity, striving to mobilize working class individuals toward a more equitable society. I always miss that word. Listen, y'all. So when me and Michael had our first conversation, and then I'm going to let him talk about who he is. He's going to give a better introduction. But listen, when we had our first conversation, I asked Michael, I said, why do you do what you do? Because he's a young man, right? And I'm like, why is he in this space? Why is he in this space? And when he shared his heart with me, when he shared his why he do what he do with me, I was like, yeah. We're supposed to be connected. So I'm going to let Michael share a little bit, and then we're going to have a conversation. That's what we do here, Conversations with Kenya. Go ahead. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm the statewide coordinator for FCHEP, where we try to bring education into the prisons. And today I'll talk about FCHEP, but all of the personal views are my own and not my job's. But I got into this space in about 2022, where in 2016 I got really invested in the Bernie Sanders campaign.
Okay.
And in 2016 and 2020, watching somebody who was like a true working class champion just be like screwed over by his own team and the system, when we know he would have brought real change for the working person. When I got to college, I was super, excited to go into politics.
Okay.
And as I got into the student government, I saw like firsthand that even at a young age, there's still so much corruption, and there's still so much like scandal and attempts to bribe other student leaders. And so I was still doing good work, and I did a few things, like I brought recycling to 2 off-campus housing complexes that weren't recycling. So I wrote a bill
Okay.
brought it to the complexes, and I was like, hey, the UCF student body wants you to bring recycling here. You guys are UCF affiliates. And we ended up getting recycling to 2 different complexes, which wasn't as many as we wanted, but still, like, now thousands of students for years to come can recycle, and that might make some difference.
That's big. That's big.
And so while I was in the student government, I read a book by somebody named Chris Hedges called Our Class, Trauma and Transformation in the American Prison System. And this was like my first introduction into the prison education field. And throughout the book, he's like describing how harsh the prison system is, how a lack of education in any society just leads to dysfunctional society. He was talking about how the broader American culture, our education system is just failing, and leading to all this decay that we're seeing now. And he throughout the book, he's telling the story of how he got his students in New Jersey through the NJ STEP program at Rutgers University. He had the students in his class writing a play together. And so the students wrote their own play, taking influence from their stories as incarcerated students, and incorporating their own experiences into these stories, into these characters. And he's, every other chapter, he's going back. He's talking about the broader scope, where how the people inside may talk between the toilets, and the difficulties of the female prisons and all that. And every other chapter, he'll be going back to the story of his own class. And he ends with this amazing description of the students writing their own play, publishing it on Amazon. You can buy their own play on Amazon, and they acted it out in front of their families and the warden and and the COs and their fellow incarcerated residents. And I was just like, this is so powerful, because it felt like
I feel it just hearing you describe it. It's like, man, that is really powerful. And I guess if I read something like that, I would probably I want to know more. I want to discover more. So now most of my guests typically, let me back up. Let me pause for a minute before we go deep. So me and Michael got connected through another good friend who I had in the studio, Walt Dunn. Shout out to Walt. Hey, Walt. Just in case you...
What's up, Walt? I'll call you back. I promise.
I love it. Yeah, he's supposed to call you. So connected us. And this is so amazing to me. I just said how you start in this lane and the people you're supposed to meet. So last week I had the amazing Tanaine Jenkins up in here. And Tanaine actually found me on your site.
Oh, really?
That's how she found me. I say how she said it right.
Was that your first time meeting?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, we connect. She found me and emailed me. I was like, hey, could we have a conversation? I saw you. And so I still didn't know, Michael, where she had found me. And we said it, and I was like, I said it again, and she said, you do know how I found you, right? And I was like, no, I really don't. And she said, Michael's page.
Oh, wow.
You had your information. I was like, let me go see who this is.
That's amazing.
And then reached out.
The page is working. The website's working.
It's working. Keep doing what you're doing. So we'll share with my audience and those who will come back and watch this why you do what you do. I heard you tell about this story, right? And so tell them exactly, give them a little bit of exactly what it is you do for the prison system.
Yeah. So I'll quickly say one thing I did. So right after I finished reading that book, I called the Florida Prison Education Project.
Wow. Yeah.
I called a UCF professor, and I was like, hey, I want to teach. I was only a sophomore. And they're like, you can't teach, but we do have this program. We'll connect you with the program, the Florida Prison Education Project. Wow. So they connect me with Jason Franzek, who is an amazing mentor of mine. And he's like, we need this bill passed in the student government called Ban the Box, to allow people with convictions to not have to disclose on their application. So long story short, I start working with Jason as a senator. And then he's like, you know what? Come on board to FCHEP. So he brings me on to FCHEP. And while I'm in FCHEP, we create this magazine, the FCHEP Post, which features stories, essays, artwork from people that have been incarcerated, people that are currently incarcerated, people that teach in the prisons, and we just brought it all together and started bringing these magazines into the prisons. People that were inside could read it and feel inspired to maybe pursue education themselves.
Yeah.
And that's still going. And I also created a student organization called the Students for Education in Prison chapter, which allowed for people that were affected by the system or just wanted to be involved as students to participate in this activism. And that's also still going on. But now I work with FCHEP to bring these classes into prisons, build a network of people in Florida like you and Tanine and A. Brown, who I'll be connecting you with. And we're trying to just create a seamless pathway for people that have been, incarcerated to get from, inside to a job on the outside that's well paying, that allows them not to go back to where they offended.
Yes, that's that. And that's, so I was sharing with Michael that, my focus has been, and as I continue on this journey, I'm learning so much from people like you, and just it's so amazing. And one of the things I'm 100% absolutely sure of, none of us can do it alone.
Yeah.
None of us can do it alone. It really does take a village of all of us with the different sources, the different components, because education was not a focus of mine until I met Walt 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
He took one of the FPEP classes, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
It really, that man is amazing. He's really amazing. It just wasn't, and I was like, even when he came to one of my original shows, he was about that education, and I was like, okay, he really into. And for me, that had not been a focal point as it related to returning citizens. And so, and then here you come along, and now I'm really like, this is important. Like, it's important for us, and not that it. When Walt shared his story about how I think he was in the midst of, he was in college or getting ready to go to college when he got sentenced, when he got caught up and sent away, and then couldn't, and was having difficulty returning to college because of now he has a felony, right? And so share with us, like I said, some of the things that, do you go inside the prison?
Yeah.
Okay.
I go in to donate books. I've also been in to tutor GED students.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's intense because, I'm talking to people that are older than me, have a lot more life experience, who are not even asking for help, but I'm there trying to help them. And it's very humbling, but it's also pretty intense when I talk to an individual at the Central Florida Reception Center. He's about 2 years younger than me, and he's talking about being released in like 2060. And I was, he's like, he acknowledges all the mistakes he's made, and he's really trying to tutor the other people that are inside, trying to take those classes, and just like thinking about how, lucky we are out here to just like, we can just take so much for granted. I think that's what I take away is, it's like the worst part about the prison system, like it's like biblically evil what is going on, because they label these prisons as the good. Like they label the whoever it is that you want to call, they have labeled these prisons as the place of like correcting people.
Rehabilitation.
It's the place where the good things are done and the bad things are that people do are brought into there. And the reality is like,
right there. That's good.
And the reality is that we can be painted as people that are trying to help criminals, help violent people, or help murderers. Like we get painted as evil, when in reality there's a system that's been created to utterly like destroy somebody's individuality, deny them education. And the thing that nobody acknowledges is, the Nixon administration. There's a quote from somebody in the 70s who's like, bring the drugs into the black communities and the communities for hippies and lock them up. And this is like designed.
Yes.
And it's labeled as like a virtuous thing. And it's just like so unbelievably evil. There's no AC in these prisons.
It gives me so maybe, I don't know if I've shared with you that My journey into the prison system started early 2000 because I have a son who's been to prison 7 times and is currently doing his 8th bid after being free for 6 years. This is probably the hardest journey for us because of his freedom so long, and to go back in there, I can't. So when I hear, I've been in for not like inside to do any teachings, but I've been like to the prison, of course, to visit. And then when I have to hear, or I know, or I'm watching, or I'm learning, I'm studying, I'm looking at the numbers, I'm looking at stuff to know that I have a child that I birthed that's going through this dealing with the evilness that's in there. And so for me, this is the first time that, so I just share with you the new leadership project we're getting ready to launch, right? And I love Tanane. Like that girl is, when I tell you, she is one of the realest people I've met in a long time in this industry, right? And I shared with her that I had reached out to my son. I had never done this before, right? And I reached out to him because I had about 5 names. Actually, I think I narrowed it down 3. I may have 5. And I emailed them to him and said, hey, I'm getting ready to launch this. I've never included him in anything I was doing out here. And I emailed him and said, hey, I'm getting ready to launch this leadership program. Help me choose the right name. Sent it to him. It took him about 2 or 3 days. Because I couldn't wait. I had to get stuff ready. So I had already chosen Power, had already started marketing and doing stuff. When he finally emailed me back, Michael, he said, for me, it's Power. And I was like, oh God, I'm in the right zone. I'm doing the right thing. So I understand when you say it's just pure evil. It is. It really is.
And it makes it just so much more evil because it's labeled as like, this is the good.
They're going to get better here. This is where they go to get fixed.
And the people that run these prisons are good because like they're like that. It just boggles my mind.
I can tell. I can absolutely tell. And so one of the, I told you I was just in a room and at the end of the round table we were having, we had somebody raised their hand and said, okay, now that we've had, and this was a room of recovery, a recovery room, right? Those who have struggled with, or currently, like one lady was maybe 6 months after she had been a long time. But anyway, it was a recovery room, right? Of professionals. So these are professionals that have struggled with, dealt with. And one of the panelists had a felon. He had been to prison and talked about the struggle. And this is a professional man with several degrees and and the struggle of being able to get employment with those degrees. And so at the end of the conversation, someone raised their hand and said, okay, now we've had this meeting and there's about literally 100 people in the room. Are you guys willing to host a meeting for those of us that's in this room that want to come together outside of this coalition and create a coalition and start kicking in some doors? Because we tired. And then I sit with Tanane and it's the same conversation. Like we're tired of sitting back and watching it. And so I shared with her, and she sat in that same chair over there last week. You guys help me, you as well as Tanane, help me know that I'm in my zone. Help me know that it's bigger than providing housing. It's bigger than providing employment. It's bigger than providing a bus pass. And it's bigger than that. Like this fight is bigger than that. And we don't continue to fight with people like you and people like Tanane that's going ahead of us and getting in some real folks' faces to make some changes, there won't be any changes. And so help me know what we can do as a people. Just as individuals, regular old folks, what we can do to help push you forward in your work.
I feel like there's, so many different avenues to to make the change, at least where I work, we have people that donate books to us, and we send these books into the prisons. I think the most important step one is like educating yourself on what really goes on inside these spaces. And I think that if you wanted to do the most impactful thing possible, it's volunteer to go inside. Like remind the people inside who don't have air conditioning and are suffering every single day that they're human beings and that they deserve recognition and that education can better their lives.
Wow.
And also get involved with organizations that are doing work in this space, like attend these events and volunteer at places like A. Brown Ministries, or with the Florida Prison Education Project,
the House of Grace.
Exactly, the House of Grace. Get involved with the House of Grace.
Yeah, man.
And I think we have to really call out everything we're seeing, because the silence is what allows this to happen.
Wow. Yeah, I felt that, Michael.
And we're now in a position where the people that are in power are just doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in this whole higher education and prison space. I went to a prison education conference in New Orleans, National FCHEP.
Okay.
It was a great event. And maybe I'm being picky, but
I doubt it, but go ahead.
El Salvador was not mentioned one time. And you might be like, why would they mention El Salvador? I think when the president of the United States is talking about sending people that are American citizens who are incarcerated to a place that's so far away that your family can't even visit you, where there are reports of people like being held on their knees for 9 hours, and every time they fall over, they get kicked by the guards. And that's somebody that could be your son.
Right. Absolutely.
That could be anybody.
Absolutely.
And I think it's just like this stuff can't be normalized, because right now everything is so atrocious that we just don't know what to do.
Wow.
They're building I always call it I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Listen, let's say whatever you this is an open platform. You say whatever you feel like saying on here.
They're building what looks like a concentration camp in the middle of the Everglades.
Yeah.
Where people are getting sick and beaten and suffering, and they don't even know if these people have actually committed a crime. They're innocent people. And so I think what we need to look at as a society is one day will we all be incarcerated. We won't need to be physically behind the bars, but we'll all be people that can just be pushed aside, who don't have any real power.
Wow.
Because right now it doesn't seem like there is much power to go around unless we generate it.
Wow.
With, like you said in my introduction, the working class people.
Yeah.
And that's everybody around here. Because if you're living in St. Petersburg, you're not
working class people.
You're not flying in a private jet.
That's right.
Like you don't get to decide I want to go to Singapore overnight.
That's right.
And so most people, or at least in the society we live in, they don't want to hear what's going on in either in Everglades Correctional or about the heat in the prisons. Last week, there was the Students for Education in Prison chapter decided to hold an event called Beat the Heat, where they simulated how hot a prison cell would be. They brought this pod. Wow. And the simulated prison cell is so hot that the university said no student can actually get inside because it's dangerous. And it's like these people live in those cells.
Ooh. And see, I do, but most don't, right? Because if you've not had anybody impacted, or you've not gone in there, or you're not in the trenches doing the work, then you're not even thinking about that. Like you want to send people to jail, you want to send people to prison because you don't realize what happens in there, right? And I don't believe everybody belongs in prison. Yeah, so there are some people that really do, but we absolutely know that a lot of people are wrongfully, we can talk about Walt if we wanted to, wrongfully convicted. And then most times the crime and the time don't match. And so I understand what you're saying. We do, but there are so many out there that don't realize the importance of the support that's needed when returning citizens come home. Like, let's not beat them down. Like Tanane says, they're resentenced, right? They come home and they're second sentence. They come home and their second sentence, poverty and just everything is set up against them, and it's difficult for them to excel, to do well, to become the citizens that the whole world is saying they should be, without the proper support and people like yourself and Walt and Tanane that's fighting for them. So I was in a room before I came here, a bunch of business folks, and I walked in that room. This thing is so dear to my heart now. I walked in that room, bunch of city people and professionals. The mayor was there and a bunch of folks. And it wasn't a huge selection of folks, but important people. And Michael, I walked in the door. My first thought was, who's in here representing returning citizens? Because they should be in the room too. They should be in the room talking about building their businesses and buying new homes and networking and connecting, and they don't get invited to the table.
People want to help the poor. This is what that author Chris Hedges said. He said people want to help the poor, but they don't like the smell of the poor.
Ooh.
So they'll do all this stuff online. We'll have all these Zoom calls.
Come on.
And but who goes in there and who's doing the work?
It look good on paper, right? It look good. You posting and you're doing all that, but what are you? What does the records state? Who have you really helped?
Exactly.
Like that thing's so dear to my heart. Like, I don't do this for money, likes. Actually, you get less likes, right? This thing is so dear to my heart. And so being in that room tonight is like, yeah, I know I should be here, but I wanted to. And somebody asked me, and a guy that don't look like me was standing in front of me, like, hey, turn around, like, hey, how you doing? I was like, hey. He's like, so who are you? What do you do? And I say, I work with returning citizens. And you can see the shift in their, right? Like, you work with who? Right? And then when I explain, it's like, it's such a taboo. It's such a it's something. Talk. Yeah. This is what I wanted to ask you. How does your family feel like? So do you have any siblings?
One brother.
One brother, older, younger?
Yeah, older.
Older, okay. And so what does he do?
He's all over the place. But he just got a job at Sprouts, making sandwiches. So
you said that, didn't you? And so
he was working as a security guard at a nightclub before this.
Okay.
So
I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, how did you get here? Like, I know the story, but how? Like, what sends you on the path to politics and student government and dad, granddad, anybody else?
I think it was, I come from a middle class family, but money was always like something that made my parents really worried. And, my mom had a cancer that is one of the worst of the worst. And she needed a surgery that cost $1 million, or a procedure.
Wow.
What if you don't have insurance?
Wow.
Who has $1 million to spare other than people that have $1 million?
Correct.
And if you don't have this money to spare and you want to survive, you have to
sell your soul.
Sell your soul. And so I think when I got involved with Bernie and started hearing about the healthcare industry, that was really what sparked it.
Okay.
Was like, you could be dying and they're trying to use you as a piece of profit.
Yeah.
Like your human dignity is stripped away and you become a money machine.
Yeah.
Instead of a person who needs help. And it's like, how sick is that? That places will charge $80 a tissue box for cough suppressant, and my mom was getting these shots and it was $50,000 a week. Thankfully, we had insurance, and she would work and say, I have to get you guys insurance. I have to make sure we have health insurance. And I'm like, holy crap. Like, we should just be able to get health insurance for like other countries do in Northern Europe. Either for free or for a significantly reduced price.
100.
And it felt like there was a mafia, like, as acting as this insurance middleman for no reason at all. And the hospitals and the politicians were all in cahoots, like, making money off of death.
That's crazy.
It's like, this is what I mean by the disconnect is, like, if you don't immerse yourself in these stories, like, you have to force yourself, especially if you're a white person, like, you have to put yourself in places where you're reminded of your privilege, because, like, your default setting is to become comfortable.
Yes. I love it.
And like, I remember reading Malcolm X's book where he's like, you don't need to educate. If you're white, you don't need to go up to a black person or Hispanic person and be like, oh, let me tell you how to help your community. It's like, help talk to other white people about this stuff. Get them to understand, because, like, I talked to some people and there's like, oh, it's too negative. Too negative.
That is the truth.
What else is there? This is life. Like, this is that. This is.
No, you in it, but you ain't in this life.
And, like, people need help, you know. And it's like,
that's awesome.
You can either pick, I want to live life selfishly, or I want to live life helping other people. And
this has really helped me understand why I needed to have you here, why we're connected. I love it. I knew it when I met you and we had that conversation. I say, why are you doing this? Because to me, it didn't make sense, right? And so to hear your passion and your concern, I know sitting here, you're right where you're supposed to be.
I somehow ended up here.
And I'm excited. I'm excited about where you're going and the work you're doing and that you're getting ready to do, like this thing. And just know you got me on the team. I'm on the team to help push and do whatever I can for you to enlarge your territory, right? To expand your network, and because it's important. Education is important. I understand that better than I did a year ago, 2 years ago, the importance of education and behind those walls, because we need them already preparing before they come out. And we know it's gotten better because I've met people who's come home with some degrees and certificates. And so we know, but it's still so much more to do.
And that's where a lot of the challenges we face come from, because, the Florida prison, so there's a few different organizations that offer actual degrees in Florida. One of them is Institute for Educational Empowerment in Miami, and the Community Education Project at Stetson. They offer bachelor's degrees. And I believe those are for free, but, another insane reason I'm in this is because a bill was pushed through to make it so that if you're incarcerated in Florida and you want to take classes, you're not charged out-of-state tuition. And so you're going to these people who may have had extremely poor homes, who don't know where their forums are, and they're like, hey, I want to better my life. Let me take a college class.
Like,
and
wait, no.
We'll charge you $5,000 for that.
Where?
And so I feel like the education is just, even on the outside of society, like even in our public schools, is incredibly important.
Yeah, there's a big meeting coming up. I'm going to send you the invite. You're more than welcome to come next month about education in it may be Pinellas County, but it's a big deal. It's a big call to action. And I know you like call to action.
I love calls to action.
Well, we got a few more minutes here. I know, I could tell you do. So here's what I would like in these last few minutes that we have. I would like for you to share with my audience, right? because I'll have some people that'll come back and watch this interview, and those, especially, I hate to use the word ignorant, but to the fact of the importance of, because you have people that'll literally say they don't deserve no education. You people really say that out of their mouths, and I'm in awe. Like,
or you're pro criminal.
yeah, like it's like what? What are you saying? Like it's crazy to me. So if you could help somebody, if you had some words that could help somebody understand why it's important, why education, because I think I titled this here, education on the inside. Why education on the inside? How is that going to change the outside? How is that going to reduce the rate of recidivism? How is that going to reduce the rate of return? Share with her, because I know this your lane. This is what you do. This is what you study. And I know when you in your lane, you go and you understand it a little better than us folks that it's not our lane. So help, because you're helping me. You're really helping me. And if you help me, then I can help some other people understand why we need higher education in the prison.
Yeah. I had a professor in college who he said, like, when we were answering questions on his test, he's like, explain it to me like I'm a 7-year-old.
There you go.
And if I can explain it to somebody like they're 7 years old, then I've successfully done my job with this. So just imagine a scenario where somebody's born into an impoverished neighborhood. They grow up without a good public school system. Their parents are absent, addicted to drugs. They're poor. They're struggling. The people around them are the same way. How do you make money? You deal drugs, sling weapons, whatever it is that can put food on your table.
Yes.
We all can agree, those types of environments are dangerous. They can make the community more dangerous. And so this individual who's selling the drugs and committing these crimes gets locked up. And somehow a college has got access to this prison where this person is, and they're offering bachelor's degrees. And this person has never even thought about going to college. They're ready to go back to their neighborhood and make money the way they know how. And so in this scenario, they get a professor, and for the next few years before they're released, they're taking classes, and they get a bachelor's degree. Maybe they get a master's or a PhD, depending on the college. And they get out, and assuming they've had good reentry services or not, let's say they go back to that neighborhood. Now they have an ability to think critically about their actions and say, maybe that's not what I should be doing. And let's say somebody says, hey, you wanna, sell some drugs with me and make some money. They say, no, I got a job interview at this place.
Hello.
And they say, hey, I got a bachelor's degree from University of Central Florida.
Hello.
And this job, which once would have said, no, thank you, now says, sure.
Wow.
And we'll give you $55,000 a year, 40 hours a week. And imagine that for all 80,000 people in Florida who have been to prison. Imagine that for every American who's in prison. All the benefits to society that come from an educated working class. Like, the job market is stronger. The communities are safer. There's less people going to prison. There's more people wanting to be teachers. There's more people wanting to keep the environment clean. Like, everything comes full circle.
Wow.
Wow. Or we can do what's happening now, where you look at them as animals who don't deserve anything of dignity. They get back to the place where they were from. They haven't had access to an education. Or let's say they even get an education and the job says, or the college says, you've had a criminal background, we're not going to hire you. That's another problem.
Yep.
But assuming all those bad things happen, what do? They need to make money. Because it is not easy living in our economy today.
Jesus. Wow.
And so it's the most common sense thing is, if somebody didn't know how to live, teach them how to live. You don't just say you're going to learn by not living at all. So next time you go out, you'll understand what to do. When in a world of evolving technology and evolving, norms.
It's so,
And so that's really it. That individual with that ability to get a high paying job takes away the possibility of returning, and it makes the community safer.
Don't it make sense? That just makes
2 plus 2
sense.
is 4.
It just makes sense. Like, why are we fighting this? Like, why are we You know why? Because we really don't want to make it better.
And you know who doesn't get locked up? All those people on Wall Street who will crash the economy and make that poor person have to sell those drugs. And they get bailed out and they're living fine. There's the white collar crime and the blue collar crime, and the white collar criminals, we know that they're rigging the system. They're screwing people over. There are stories of companies who have done these illegal things and
for years,
selling
decades.
selling addictive drugs into communities in the Midwest. You know,
for decades. Yeah.
Like, those people need to be arrested. You want law and order? Give me that law and order. Enforce the law on people that are breaking every sort of financial law, every sort of law that is not as simple as dealing drugs. Because the other things actually require education to know about.
Yes.
So if you educate yourself and you understand how tax rules work and the stock market works, and you realize, oh, people crashed the stock market or sold their stocks before the market dropped because they knew it was going to drop from insider trading.
Yes.
You have to have education to know that those things exist. Or else you're not going to understand the political process. You're not going to understand the economy. And so if you deny people education, you not only get to keep the prison system running, which is operated for profit. People have business models for prison. There are things called private prisons. If you see a kid who, I said at this conference that if you see a kid who grows up and said, I want to own a prison, that kid needs to be, I don't know what has to happen.
Forgive me.
Give him a spanking.
I didn't mean that.
Give him that kid a spanking.
Oh my God. Let me say, when you was telling that, when you was giving us visual to that, I could see that. Like, imagine that. Imagine somebody being able to get, even if they wanted a PhD, but a bachelor's, a master's degree, that they can come out of there, get a real job, provide for their family, have a real life. Imagine that. Like, come on, y'all. That's the answer. That's the answer.
That's the answer.
That is the answer. This is why Walt fight for education so hard. This is why you're out here fighting for this so hard. Thank you.
Thank you
for coming and educating us, educating me. If you ain't educating nobody else, you educated me tonight. You really gave me more clarity to the importance of higher education in prison. I am so excited. Like, it's like, now I need to know what I need to do. How can I help push this thing? Like, we got to change some stuff. We got to get this done.
Yep.
Oh my God. Y'all. Go follow Michael. Where can they find you at, Michael?
Well, the if you want to get more involved in the work for the prison systems, check out the page cah.ucf.fchep, cah.ucf.fchep, and on there you'll find all the organizations we partner with, such as Kenya's, and you can just click on each one and see how they need help and start participating in this fight.
Yeah, you want to. Listen, if you're out there and you're feeling a tugging and a pulling, and you're saying, I want to know more, I want to do more, I want to get involved. Listen, it's people like Michael, myself, Coach Chuck, Felons Ain't Failures. I don't think you guys met, right? And y'all, like, for real, we can keep talking about it, or we can be about it.
Got to do something.
You can't or shut up. One or the other.
Yep.
And let us do the work, and then push us. Don't pull us back. Push us forward. And if it ain't your lane, that's fine. But we need your support. We need your help. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
You said it. Thank you so much for having me
on. Oh my gosh, that was so amazing. Yeah, you guys, it's your girl, Coach K, your life do-over advocate, your life do-over advocate, your Purpose Lamaze instructor. I am a hope dealer, and I sit here tonight with another amazing hope dealer, because we deal hope, y'all. We love you guys. You can catch this episode on a Wednesday of next week. And thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you, Kenya.
Having you.
Thank you so much.
So excited.
Thank you to everybody for watching.
Yeah. And we out. Peace.